Hello everybody and welcome to Front Row Racing on this Wednesday evening as we get ready for the Front Row Racing World Championship Round 18 from the Circuit of the Americas in America. Your commentary team for the event is Front Row Racing GP, Millstar 12 and myself from Racing DP. We'll hand over to Steve, who is GP, to see how you are today.
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you very much, DP. And yeah, a new friendly face in the World Championship commentary box with me, Millstar. How are you this evening, Millstar?
I'm alright, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, at this point, seeing as you are with us in the main event of the World Championship, we thought we'd christen you with a commentary name.
Okay, well, what do I get then?
Well, seeing as I'm known as the Murray Talker, yeah, and we've got Dave as Ted Crabsticks. We normally like to do something with people's names if we can, and it was very difficult to sort something out with Millstar, but we came up with the Damon Millstar. So Damon Millstar.
Hello.
So there you go. Damon Millstar it is. So anyway, back to the main event, which is the World Championship No Assists League. It's going to be an interesting one around here. Any certain drivers out on circuit that today that you're going to be keeping an eye on yourself?
Well, for me, I personally think that Stocky and Mr. Hamilton, obviously that's been a battle all season, but I think those two will be ones to watch on this track especially, actually.
Yeah, that is definitely one battle that we're going to have to keep an eye out for. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the drivers that we've got with us for this event and the teams that they're in. And then we're going to go through the previous race results and the drivers' standings and the constructor standings. And yeah, so let's go through the teams. And I'm going to try my best now to make sure I get the team names correct. So in the Fearless Trailblazers Mercedes, we have got Temp Fear, the current World Championship champion, and Stocky, who looks like a driver that could be taking it away from his teammate. In the GG Well Played Ferrari, we've got Jamie James 16 and Overdykink, or should we say Overdykink and Jamie James 16, depending on who you want to be putting their name first as the number one driver. Then we've got Team Banter Williams, GT5 King, and Mornay 77. In the Danish Dragons Red Bull, we've got Mr. Hamilton 44 and Bleeding Sunrise. So Mr. Hamilton in the Red Bull, that's the driver you need to be keeping an eye out for, as well as Stocky in the Mercedes. Looking further down the list, we have got the Moving Chicane Racing Force India of Coming to Get You, and Joey Finn. It's nice to see Joey Finn has been able to make it. He's missed a couple of events this season, but he's managed to get to us today, which is great to see. We have also got the A2W Racing Renault. A2W Racing Renault, yes, that's correct, and it's at A-Cut and Braken Clays, and they'll be looking to score some points and try and move themselves away from the bottom of the constructors table. We also have the Prancing Rosso Toro Rosso of Simo 911, who's been showing some great form just of late, and F1 Roadrunner. The Underdogs McLaren is the next team that we need to have a look at, and in that team we've got Hammer Time 95, but his teammate is missing, and that is Bartman, that is not attending at the moment. He did let us know that he may not be able to make it. DP, quick reminder, you might want to lock the lobby off. We've gone past half past. So the next driver team to look at is the Lunatic Assassin Racing Horse of Certec Karatepe and Erna Urcham. And then we've also got the FRR Chewbacca Rookie Manor, and in that car today is a Lycamal, and he'll be interesting to see how well he gets on, and keep a close eye out, see where he finishes. He's a driver that's come through from the World Championship reserves to take this event today to see how he competes with the main drivers. Also in that team you can see Millstar, but he won't be taken to the track hopefully. He'll be with us in the commentary box. So DP,
Yes,
are you back with us?
I'm
yes.
Here.
Is it me that's doing the previous race results? I believe it is, isn't it?
It is, yeah, unless you want me to go through them while we send the drivers over to the track.
We'll send the drivers over to the track if you've locked the lobby, and I'll run through them the previous race results quite quickly if we can. Okay, so Japan was the previous race, and the winner was Mr. Hamilton with Stocky in second place, Simo in third, Coming to Get You in fourth, Mornay in fifth, Overdijking in sixth, Tenth Fear in seventh, Bleeding Sunrise eighth, F1 Roadrunner ninth, GT5 King 10th, Break and Clays in 11th, the Chewbacca Rookie Manor was in 12th, Certic Carrier Tepe in 13th, Erna Urchin 14th, and then we had the DNFs of Jamie James, Bartman, Aircut with a DSQ for not supplying footage, Hammer Time 95 did not start, and Duo Finn did not start.
Yep, that is true. It was a fantastic race in Japan as well. If you've not seen it, make sure after this event you go back and watch it. Onto the Drivers' Championship standings then, as the drivers are on the way over to the circuit. And just to let the viewers know, if you do want to have a look at the current standings in the World Championship or the World Series, check out the Front Row Racing Facebook page. They were posted Saturday just gone. So the Drivers' Championship standing goes a little bit something like this. Mr. Hamilton 44 is leading the way on 254 points, but he's in a battle for the title because Stocky in second place is on 249 points. There's only 5 points between them with this and then 3 more races to go. In third place we've got Overdijking on 130 points, but his position isn't necessarily safe because Simo is in fourth on 123, Temp Fear's fifth on 112, and Coming to Get You, who's been racing really brilliantly lately, is on 105. So there's a bit of a four-way battle for third place at the moment. And then if you think that the excitement is all coming to an end, you'd be wrong, because there's also about an 8-car battle for 7th place, which is headed up by Mornay on 66 points. F1 Roadrunner's right behind him on 64, while Jamie James is right behind him on 61. And then we've got Hammer Time 95 on 48 points, Bleeding Sunrise on 44. The FRR Admin's Pick rookie car, so to speak, is on 39 points, and then Bartman is on 35, and GT5 King, who's on 32 points, has got a great opportunity of jumping Bartman if he can score 3 points or more. Then we've got Breaking Clays in 15th place on 8 points. Sertak Karatepe is behind him on 4 points. Then we've got Erna Urcher on 3 and Duofin on 1. And A-Cup made his debut in the last World Championship race. As Steve mentioned, unfortunately got a DSQ for no footage, but showed he's got pace. He's on 0 points. However, for the Constructors' Championship standings, we're going to hand over to Millstar to see how he gets on with the team's names.
Okay, so the Constructors' Championship standings are a couple close battles in here. Currently leading is the Danish Dragons Red Bull on 368 points. Second, Fearless Trailblazers Mercedes on 361, only 7 points separating them. Third, jumping up 1 place from last week, the Prancing Rosso Toro Rosso on 214. Fourth, losing the place, is the GG World Cup Dave Ferrari on 206. Fifth is the Lunatic Assassin Racing Haas on 194. Sixth is the Moving Chicane Racing Force India on 126. Seventh is the Underdogs McLaren on 99, and eighth, only 1 point behind them, is the Team Banter Williams on 98. Ninth is the FRR Chewbacca Rookie Mana on 39, and heading up the grid in 10th is the A2W Racing Renault on 12.
Okay, thank you very much there, Millstar. I'm just seeing out on circuit we've got Mr. Hamilton 44, but Hammer Time 95 has left the session. Fortunately, that'll be his qualifying session done with, and he'll have to start where his car... Actually, is he... DP, clarification of the rules. Can he do a delta lap time?
A qualifying, he can do a delta lap time to put himself ahead of the broadcast team, but he can't set a lap time, a relevant lap time. He basically can set a lap time that's slow enough to put him at the back of the grid, just in front of the broadcast team. The reason for that is good chance that the lights are going to go out at a different time for him than everybody else, could cause chaos. That's why that was brought in. Just want to mention though, Steve, you had a look at the weather conditions. Did you notice anything?
I did, but I didn't want to interrupt at the time. I left it on there to make sure everyone got a good view of it, and I was going to come to you with a weather report. What's your thought on that? Because it's quite a wide band of time between, the 20 minutes and the 45-minute periods.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be a dry start to the race. From 20 minutes to 45 minutes, potential rain. I don't know. I think as a driver, you've potentially got to approach this race as qualify as quick as you can, and start on those tyres. Pit on put a set of tyres on that are going to go as long as possible. If you're potentially on a one-stop strategy here, it won't matter if the rain comes late because everybody will be in the same boat. There are a few drivers out there on track at the moment, but I do want to quickly mention as well, we have got a question of the day to do, as Mr. Hamilton 44 has gone purple in sector 1. So yeah, we have got a question of the day to get through in a few moments. It looks like Mr. Hamilton 44 has had a little bit of traffic on his lap as well.
Yeah, I think he was actually hindered there a little bit. He may not be too happy. It's almost as if everyone's decided to come out right ahead of when he was starting his flying lap. I'm wondering whether he'll back out of this or whether he's going to actually stick a relevant time on the board. Millstar, I'm talking about relevant times on the board. Do we see anybody else out there at the moment putting any sectors on the board?
Not currently. A lot of the drivers are in the... not a lot of the drivers, actually. I was just looking at Stocky, who's on the lap, and he's set he set a 26.5 sector 1 and a 40.7 sector 2, so I'm assuming that this is probably not the fastest lap he's going to get today, but he's currently going around that long right hand.
Are you sure that's Stocky? That might be Mr. Hamilton you're looking at.
No, Stocky and Mr. Hamilton are putting in pretty much exactly the same sector times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stocky's just abandoned his lap and gone to pits, actually.
Stocky must have been following Mr. Hamilton round, because while we're watching Mr. Hamilton cross the line and take that provisional pole position, Stocky must have been literally following him.
Go to his teammate, Bleeding Sunrise. He's about to go provisional pole.
Let's try and get on with him. We are with Bleeding Sunrise. He takes that long. Yeah. Are you liking these sector times? Is this going to be what we expect from a pole position time, Millstar?
I think then, just looking at see what he does when he comes across the line, I think that's going to be I don't think it's going to get pole, but I think he'll be on the top three. Yeah.
Yeah. So DP.
A-cut.
We've got A-cut. We'll watch A-cut as he's got the long straight to go down. I just want to go through some driver comments with you, DP. You know, the Red Bull, the main protagonists, shall we say, Stocky and Mr. Hamilton, and then their relevant teammates will be the ones that we want to know first of all.
Yeah, no problem. Well, Stocky, when we had a chat with him before the race, we said Mr. Hamilton 44 has retaken the lead in the drivers' standings. How crucial is that you beat him today? Stocky's response was, USA, USA, USA! That's exactly what I won't be singing, although showing my enthusiasm towards tonight's event. It's not a track I enjoy to drive on in these cars, but best of luck to the boys today. So, Stocky not looking too confident, although A-cut is doing pretty well out there at the moment. Mr. Hamilton 40...
need to cut you off. He's just invalidated his lap time on the penultimate corner, DP.
Oh dear, something we'll have to be careful of. Okay, Mr. Hamilton 44, he was asked, is your focus on beating Stocky or is your aim solely on the win? Mr. Hamilton 44 said, hi, of course the aim is to beat Stocky first of all, but the best way to do it is to win the race. My aim is always the win, but if I'm in a good position, I need to be careful before making any risky moves for positions. And Mr. Hamilton 44's teammate, Bleeding Sunrise, he sent a little bit of an essay. Although the question he was asked was quite a long one as well. He was asked, your teammate is fighting for the Drivers' Championship and your team has a shot at taking the Constructors too. Are either of these on your mind heading into today's race, or is your own position in the Drivers' standings more important to you? And he said, the Constructors is the only thing on my mind. I feel I have to support the team as much as I can because I'm humble to be given the chance to join the leading team. The Constructors is truly my only objective. Also, I joined the World Championship halfway through the season, so my own standings is something I don't really care about. And race-wise, beating the second Mercedes is my own objective. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to put in the time for the USA practice this week, so we'll hope for the best. To answer your question, it's fully on my mind, but as soon as the lights go out, it's race time. And the second Mercedes that he was on about is Temp Fear. Now, Temp Fear was asked before we came to the track. The driver's standings is very close as you're currently in a four-way battle for third place. Is this your target? Or is the constructors more important to you at this stage of the season, as retaining your drivers' championship is no longer viable? Temp Fear simply said, going for the best possible position in the standings for me then gives the best for the constructors, so I'll be going for that third place, but I'll still try to win the race.
Okay, thank you very much, DP. Millstar, what have we got from you? What are you seeing?
I've just seen, I don't know if you guys noticed it, Overdyking has left the session, and as I spoke there, he joined. I'm currently on board with coming to get at 85. He's coming around the last sector at the moment. He's currently 6th on the super soft tyres. See what he does. Oh, he's taking that a bit wide, and he's abandoning his lap and going into pits. Terrific.
Okay, we've also got Temp Fear, penultimate corner, and he's on the soft tyres, and his sector times don't look too bad. He's currently sat in 10th. I've got a pretty good idea this is going to improve his lap time and his position. There we go, P2 from Temp Fear.
Stocky's on the lap, just gone through sector 1, but he's 4/10ths off purple in that sector 1.
Okay, yeah, he is a little bit. With him being on them soft tyres, it might take 2 laps to get them up to temperature, but Millstar, would that affect his strategy, do you think, if he puts too many laps in qualifying on those soft tyres?
Well, yeah, obviously, as you're starting on the tyres that you qualify on, if you put too much wear on these tyres and you're looking to do maybe a one-stop round here, that's not going to be viable. Obviously, if your tyres are too warm at the start of the race, so you may have to think about that as either charging around, looking at the tyres every corner, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether this is a bit of track time for him, and he might come out on a set of supers to try and get track position. Let's see what he's going to do then. 2 corners to go. Can he hit the apex? Nicely done. The exit curb are lovely as well. 1 corner to go. And is this going to put him on front row? I've got a feeling it might be second row. And it's actually it's 5th place. So he's on the 3rd row currently with that. I'm just wondering if he left a little something there in his pocket for if he does another run in a moment, because we've got 8 minutes of this session remaining.
Well, Bleeding Sunrise is about to start a flying lap. Temp Fear is not on a lap at the moment. So yeah, Bleeding Sunrise on a flying lap. Breaking Clays is also on a flying lap. He's done a pretty good sector 1, a 25.8, a 39.8 sector 2. So Breaking Clays may be able to improve a little bit here if he has a good final sector.
Yeah, it looks like he may be a couple of tenths up on what Stocky's done at the moment. But can he nail these last couple of corners? And we could be looking at a couple of front rows. Could be on the front couple of rows here. And what's it going to be? No, he's lost time in that last sector. I'm wondering whether it was just put off a little bit with a car just before the turn 16, 17, 18. The triple apex right-hander. We noticed, and Millstar mentioned it as well, I think, about Overdyking left the session and returned. Has Overdyking put a time on the board yet?
No, he hasn't.
He has messaged on YouTube though, saying that his game crashed again, and sort of asking how many times has this happened this season. And I think he's also concerned. I mean, he's starting from the back of the grid now, so he's sort of said, "See ya, P3." Obviously, he's in that battle for the 3rd place in the title. Bit of information for you though. Mornay, he's out on track doing laps on the soft compound tyre, but Bleeding Sunrise is back out on track, but not done a good sector 1 time.
Okay, GT5 King's just heading through sector 1 now, through the S's, and it's nice apexes there for him, keeping it quite tight as he crosses the sector line. That's a 25.4, not too bad there from GT5 King. That first sector is very tricky and it's easy to overheat your tyres, and yeah, it looks like he managed to do that okay. Millstar, if you were, I know that you're not available to race tomorrow, but if you were racing tomorrow, what would you be doing with, say, setup wise? It high arrows or low arrows? What are your thoughts?
It's sort of trying to find a balance of where you think you'll lose time adjusting your setup in a certain way, and then trying to find which is sort of the optimum thing. So if you put like high downforce, obviously you're going to be really smooth through for that middle sector and those final few corners. But if you will be quite slow on the straights, and you're going to be lack of opportunities to overtake. So you may want to sort of.
Sorry guys, I'm just going to jump in a second. Coming to get you, 25.8 sector 1 time on the soft compound tyre.
Ooh, we'll jump onto him in a moment as soon as GT5 King has crossed the line, because GT5 King is on quite a good lap here. Last corner for him, and then we'll get to coming to get you. GT5 King cross the line. P1. Provisional pole for GT5 King. I said he was on a good one, and that'll be putting a smile on his face. So you say coming to get you. We'll have a look for him. Let's find out off DP what GT5 King had to say in his pre-race comments, because for him being on P1 provisionally, it's very interesting.
It definitely is. Sorry to have cut you off there, Millstar. With GT5 King being on provisional P1, keep an eye out for people popping in purple sectors. Okay, GT5 King. Okay, short question to him. Are you confident of beating the McLarens to help you with your constructors' standings? And Rian said, everything is uncertain. Obviously, I want to finish well, but just want to put my head down and get this race done. Well, at the moment, he's in the perfect position to do it. Looks like coming to get you has abandoned his lap.
He invalidated it, unfortunately. Yeah, Mr. Hamilton says he's flying lap, but I'm not getting a clock on him. Now let's see what it does. 25.4 sector 1. 25.4 sector 1 set on soft tyres. A-cut, yeah.
A-cut's done a 25.0 sector 1 time on super soft tyres.
Wow, so A-cut could be sticking it on pole, and I've got a feeling that A-cut is just going to be ahead of Mr. Hamilton on the road. I want to keep on board Mr. Hamilton though, because obviously he's in fight for the championship. But Millstar, you were saying about the setup and about how important it is to get that balance right, and you're kind of compromising yourself in a way kind of everywhere, but it also benefits you everywhere.
Yeah, just you don't really want to make it too high, but as Mr. Hamilton locks up on Mr. but you don't want to make it too high. As obviously you'll be fast through those middle sectors, but you're leaving yourself completely open through the straight. So I suspect most drivers have probably gone for the 9s or the 8s to the arrows.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised if they have done that. Exactly.
A-cut's taking pole. A-cut's going to take pole, a 39.4 sector 2 time.
That is a good time so far from A-cut, and yeah, Mr. Hamilton's not quite matching those times, but it's going to be a couple up near the front for Mr. Hamilton.
46.0.
Wow, that is a fast time from him. So Mr. Hamilton though, it's only P6, and he's not got enough time to get back to the pits to put another set of tyres on and go again. So yeah.
Sorry, interestingly as well, something else we just missed. Jamie James has just gone and popped himself into second place with a 36.5 as well.
Okay, I like him out. He's out on circuit, the rookie driver. I've got a feeling he's on an in lap there. His sector's a little bit off. Yeah, A-cut is on an in lap. Jamie James, like I said, he's P2. That's a good position for him to be in. Do we have the Ferrari pre-race comments, DP?
Not yet. I've just been having a look though. Stocky's on his way out of the pits on a set of soft compound tyres. Mr. Hamilton 44 is still out there, so Stocky's going to try and improve. Those guys are obviously going for a particular strategy in the race, but it means that we're potentially having a mixed up grid at the end of qualifying. The Ferrari guys, okay, Jamie James, we asked the rumours in the paddock is you haven't been putting in the effort in during practice. Could this be the reason for your team fighting for third in the standings instead of fighting for the championship? And James responded with rumours in the paddock. Haha, love it. Well, I also heard rumours flying around that Overdijking is looking for a potential new number 2 driver at GG Well Played team next season after current contract terms have been argued. Just saying. Going into this weekend, race blind as setups have failed me so far. Well, at the moment, he's in second place. As for Overdijking, I'll check his comments there because he came through a little bit late. Let's see. He was asked. Let's see. The Prancing Toro Rosso team have jumped above you in the third place spot in the constructors. How important is the constructor standings to you and your team, and why? Excuse me. Overdijking said, yes, beating Toro Rosso is important if we want to have one of the cars we want for next season. Question is whether it's just as important for James as it is for me.
Interesting comments there. We've got a lot of drivers that are on out laps, looking like they're leaving it till the very last second, trying to get some temperature into their tyres. And yeah,
leading Sunrise, sorry, he's done a good sector 2 time, 25.5 sector 1, 39.3 sector 2, and he goes 4th place with a 36.8.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think what we're going to need is
yeah, sorry to interrupt. Stocky's about to start his final lap.
Okay, well,
soft tyres.
We'll keep Stocky on camera because I think he's going to be the first one to start his flying lap out of the last few runners. But DP and Millstar, if you two want to just basically shout out if anyone starts setting some good sector times, because there's going to be about 6 cars, I think, doing a lap on this within the last few seconds here. But yeah, Stocky then.
Sorry to Karen Tepe.
Yeah.
Coming into the final corners.
Okay.
Oh, nearly lost it though. He's currently sitting in 8th place. Is he going to improve? No, he doesn't. Stays 8th, unfortunately.
Okay, Stocky. Stocky Sector 1 was a 25.5 on the soft compound tyres. So that's pretty much what we've been seeing for drivers on the soft compound. He's currently sat in 9th place. And where is Mr. Hamilton currently sitting compared to Stocky?
Well, Mr. Hamilton's sitting in the pits, so he's not going to be gaining any places. GT5 King in 3rd place. He's just gone through Sector 1, done a 25.4. So there's a few drivers out there that could potentially improve their positions.
Okay, so Stocky then, Sector 2. DP, any idea of Stocky's at Sector 2 time?
I will let you know.
I've got a feeling he's not on this as much as he looked earlier on.
He's done a 25.5 and a 39.5, so he's a 10th up on his previous best. He needs to improve on a 32.2 final sector, though, if he can.
He did look like he took a lovely apex for the penultimate corner, and that's where a lot of time can be gained. And as he heads to the line, currently sat in 9th, he goes only P7. That is, it's going to be an interesting race then between Stocky and Mr. Hamilton. So out on circuit, yeah.
GT5 King, I was going to say, he's just coming up to the final corner now. No, he's going into the pits. He's been bumped down to 4th place.
Unfair coming across the line on the corners.
Yeah,
this has probably been one of the most...
Oh, he's lost it before the line.
He's gone!
No.
I was going to say, this has probably been one of the most frantic ends of a qualifying session we've ever really had.
Yeah, Joey just about to cross the line. He does. He's still in 15th place as Temp Fear's car was trying to manoeuvre out of the way for him. Yeah, so what can we say about Temp Fear's attempt of crossing the line there in qualifying? I'll try and be polite.
Easy to do.
Yeah, it is. It's very easy to do.
I'd be more interested in GT5 King. He's gone and put himself in 4th place. Now, okay, there's a few drivers that have come into this race with a bit of pressure. Stocky, Mr. Hamilton, they're fighting for the championship. But the big stories from qualifying is who is it that's on pole, who is it that's in 2nd, who is it that's in 3rd, and who is it that's in 4th? Because I don't think any of us really expected those 4 guys to be the leading 4 cars at the end of qualifying.
I would have to agree with that, other than A-Cut was on pole at the previous event. So I can kind of see him, yeah, but I mean, GT5 King in 4th position, that for him is his best qualifying, not just from this season, but for quite a few seasons, I believe, anyway.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, as we're waiting for the qualifying screen to pop up, DP, question of the day.
Yes, question of the day. And I'll warn you folks, I've put this question of the day to GP yesterday and he still hasn't got the answer. Okay, question of the day for today. It's a riddle, but we'll get to that in a moment because we've got the qualifying results, Steve, if you want to run through that for us.
I shall. We've got A-Cut on pole position with Jamie James in 2nd, Brake and Clays in 3rd place, with GT5 King in 4th place. We've got Beading Sunrise in 5th, Mornay in 6th, Mr. Hamilton in 7th with Stocky, his title rival in 8th place. We've got
that's a battle.
Yeah, with Temp Fear in 9th, Certec Karatepe in 10th place, F1 Roadrunner in 11th, Simo 911 in 12th. He's a long way down from what we normally expect to see. Erna Urcham in 13th, coming to get you in 14th, Joe Finn in 15th, Overdyking 16th, and I like him out. Didn't set a lap time, he's at the back of the grid.
Yeah, 2nd and 3rd, exactly the same lap time as well. Interesting thing there though is that Mornay's the leading harder tyre runner. He's got Mr. Hamilton 44 behind him, who's got Stocky next to him. So there's a group of 4 cars there that are going to be starting on the soft compound tyre and going to be trying to go a little bit longer. I will do question of the day once GP has rejoined us in the lobby, because in a moment he is going to have to jump out so he can catch the start of the race. While he's doing that, we'll have a look at what tyres the drivers outside the top 10 are going to be starting on.
I just want to point out, DP, look at your race strategy screen as we've got up on the broadcast at the moment, and you'll see that it's not at the end of the race that rain's going to come. It's before the end of the race, and then it's going to stop again. Now that is going to spice everything up, because this race is normally a nailed-on one-stop race, and you can mix it up with whatever set of tyres you want pretty much, and you can still get a one-stopper out of it. But
in previous seasons, it was never a one-stop race. This season, yeah, a one-stop race is definitely a possibility. But if rain's coming, that's going to be out the window. But like I say, it's interesting, because if the rain's going to come and then stop again, is it going to stop enough to go back to slick tyres?
Is it going to rain enough to come off the slick tyres? There's not enough information on that screen for me that says it's going to rain a lot, that you're going to need the intermediate tyres.
What are you thinking, Millstar?
I was just going to say, actually, that quickly, some of the drivers that normally that we see at the sort of the high end of the grid towards the bottom may have set their car up towards the rain to try and give themselves an advantage towards the end of the race, potentially.
That is
quite
very
possibly.
True.
Okay, so the formation lap is about to start, and like DP said, I will be leaving to rejoin so we can get the footage of the start of the race. I'm just going to wait for the car to start moving. Yeah, Millstar, if you could have a look at the tyres that the cars are on from 11th backwards, and let us know who is on what.
Yep. In 11th place is F1 Roadrunner on the medium tyres, so Simo in 12th. 13th is Una Rochum on the super softs. 14th softs. Mr. Hammer Time is on the softs as well, and Leica is also on the softs.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it says that they're on at the moment. Now, there is the possibility that they may end up changing if they've not managed to fully confirm their tyre choice before the timer ran out. But yeah, it gives us a rough idea.
Should we do question of the day now while the drivers are on their formation? Okay, question of the day. If you think you want to have a guess at the answer to this one, pop it in the YouTube comments. Okay, it's a riddle. I'm not open and I'm not closed, but I can be full or empty. What am I? So pop your answers in the YouTube chat. Steve, do you want to have your 1000th guess?
I'm going to try and guess at something I've not guessed at already. Something that's it's not open, it's not closed, it's not full, and it's not empty. It's not open. Do you know what, I've had that many guesses that have been wrong. I think I've run out of guesses. I am actually going to say something I've already said, and then people will know it's not that. I'm going to say
you keep thinking about it.
No, actually, here's one I've not said before. Throttle, car throttle.
Ooh, it's a good guess. It's a good guess.
Because you can have it open throttle, closed throttle.
Okay, just about lining up on the grid, aren't we?
Well, Acutt's flew round. He's lining up on the grid, but I think the back of the grid is
a very long way behind.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars a long, long way behind. So he's going to have a long wait on the grid, and I don't know if that has an effect to his tyre temperatures or anything like that. I don't think it does. I think Codemaster's got it so it locks the temperatures in once the auto drive takes over, as we say. Yeah, so cars at the back will be a like him out, and it is up to him to avoid the commentary team rather than the commentary team avoid a like him out. Hopefully he'll be aware of that. So the lights will be coming on shortly. I'd just like to remind you that this is the Front Row Racing World Championship at U.S.A. We've got the lights coming on. 5 lights on. When 5 lights go out like now they have, the cars are away and they head up towards that turn 1. And when I say head up, it is uphill. So in first place is Jamie James. He's in first place. He's taken the lead into turn 1. Acutt has been run wide just like Rosberg had done by Hamilton a couple of seasons ago. Braken Clays is looking strong alongside his teammate. I think Braken Clays may have just taken that position from Acutt. No, it is Acutt still in second position, and it looks like we all managed to get through sector 1 without too much of a problem at all. So just to confirm, Jamie James is leading this race in his Ferrari. Where is his teammate? As there are, who's this in the background? We've got a Red Bull trying to force their way past, and it is Mr. Hamilton, 44. He's up into 6th place, trying to get past Mornay. We will find out where that other Ferrari is in a moment. Millstar.
battle between 6th, 5th and 4th, Bleeding Sunrise and GT5 King. Bleeding Sunrise and Mr. Hamilton have both overtaken GT5 King then, but there was small contact. Mr. Hamilton's up to 5th.
Well, Mr. Hampton's up to 5th, but Stocky's down to 11th. Jamie James still leading the way, though. And I'm wondering if Bleeding Sunrise is going to let his teammate through. Yes, he is. Bleeding Sunrise has just let Mr. Hamilton, 44, up into 4th place.
He has, and he did it in a very difficult position on the track where it could be very, he tried to obviously lose a minimal amount of time, but it's where you could actually be dive bombed quite easily with it being the type of corners that it is. But Mr. Hamilton up to 4th place, so he's on the soft tyres, but it's the middle set of tyres as we run the 3 different compounds here today.
Sorry to interrupt, Stocky's being overtaken by Overdyking. This is for 11th place, but it's quite crucial in the terms of the championship here.
Yeah, so Overdyking, he couldn't quite make it stick. But what has happened? Stocky down in 12th place. Do you reckon he might have a bit of damage on that car?
I think he's got something in mind. I think towards the latter part of this race we'll see him come through. I think his setup's a bit biased towards the rain maybe.
Yeah, it's either that or it's something is not quite right with that car. He did say before that he's not really accustomed to this circuit. It's not one that he likes. But let's have a look to see what is happening back up at that front, because Jamie James, you could say, is a surprise leader at the moment in time. But it's not like it's the first time he's led a race. He's won races before in front row racing, and he's being chased down by Aircut in 2nd place in that Renault as he takes a touch too much curb there. So DP, just to confirm then, if you could, about the tyre compounds, I believe Mr. Hamilton is the furthest front-running car on the soft tyres. Who else do we have on soft tyres?
I'll run through them for you. Jamie James is on super softs. A-Cut also super soft. Break and Clay super softs. Mr. Hampton 44 is on softs and he's catching up to that leading trio. Bleeding Sunrise on super softs. Temp Fear on soft tyres. GT5 King on super softs. Mornay on softs, and he's got Simo right behind him on medium compound tyres. Certec Karatepe and Tenfi's on softs, and he's just been passed by Stocky around the final corner, and now Overdyking on soft tyres is going to attack him into turn 1 as well. We're going to have a 3-way battle into turn 1 here, and they're trying to squeeze Overdyking to the tight inside line. Locks up the brakes, he does. Mercedes versus Ferrari, and I think the Haas has lost out massively there. But yeah, the interesting one for me is Simo on the medium compound tyre. He's going to go a long way, so the leaders need to get a good 20 seconds on him.
Yeah, we noticed he was outside the top 10, and I'm wondering whether that was something that was maybe tactical from Simo. Maybe he saw the weather forecast and decided, do you know what, if I can get all the way to when it rains on the mediums, I can do me one stop straight onto the inters. Quite possibly.
Jamie James may be coming under attack. He's on the back straight, and A-Cut is within DRS range.
He is, and also behind that we've got Mr. Hamilton going for a move on Break and Clays. And he's got the move done before the braking zone. So Mr. Hamilton, P3 now. He is starting to make space between himself and his title rival Stocky. And I'm sure Millstar will be able to tell us shortly where Stocky is in relation to Mr. Hamilton.
I can. Stocky is in 10th position. Remember, he's been battling with Overdyking for the last few laps. But he's actually lost ground to Toro Rosso of Simo in front of him. So, and he's just been overtaken by Overdyking. No, he's re-overtaken. He's gotten they're still battling.
Okay, yeah, and just wondering, the guys that qualified on the super soft tyres, whether either of you two have any information of when that crossover point may be?
A-Cut's going to take the lead into turn 1. By the looks of things, he's closing with DRS. He's going to go for it. Yes, he is. He looks up the inside. He's going to have to be hard on the brakes. Locks up. Jamie James going for the switchback. Side by side they go. Down towards turn 2. A-Cut's got the inside line, but Jamie James is going to have the inside line for the next corner, and he's going to be able to fend him off. Yes, he is. Great driving by the both of them.
Oh, where has Jamie James been all season? This is a driving that we remember seeing from Jamie James, and if I remember correctly, which I normally don't, you might be able to clarify this, DP. Jamie James actually had a nomination for Overtake of the Season here at this circuit from last season.
Got news for you, sorry to interrupt. Stocky's crashed. Stocky's crashed, he's done 60th.
Dear me, Stocky.
Don't know what's happened there.
Yeah, Does he? Do you think he's come away without any damage, or has he got damage with his
He's
vehicle?
still got his front wing. He's still got his front wing intact. I think Jamie James, though, he's coming under a lot of pressure. Jamie James was doing very, very well with it at the moment.
Yeah. So the question I was going to ask then, DP, is when is the crossover point? When do these super softs start being slower compared to Mr. Hamilton's soft tyre? Any idea?
Well, the super soft tyre, the guys that qualified on those, they're going to be pitting somewhere around about lap 6, lap 7. The soft compound tyre, they're going to go to what, 10 to 15 maybe, and the medium compound tyre, I've no idea. They could be looking at 16, 17 laps on them, probably a little bit longer. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to suggest, though, keep an eye on that battle at the front, because Acut, I think he's got the pace to attack Jamie James, and if he can, he may be able to pull away, but I'm also keeping an eye on Bleeding Sunrise, who's got Temp Fear closing up on him, and also in the background, let's see, is that Simo? Yes, Simo has made moves, and he's ahead of GT5 King now, up into 8th place for him, and I mentioned about Simo and the gap that the leaders are going to need. Well, Simo's only 5.5 seconds off the leaders. Simo's in a phenomenal position at the moment.
Yeah, and you was asking about those medium tyres. Just looking at my notepad, I've got mediums lasting 23 laps. So he could go
all the way to Rain.
Yeah.
Talking, sorry to interrupt, talking medium tyres, quite a way down the order, but who Durafin, who didn't actually look like he had any damage on his cars, pitted from mediums to softs. So I think I may have...
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Acut's gone for the move for the lead. He's gone for a move on Jamie James. He's made it stick. He's covering the inside now. But Mr. Hamilton is right on top of these two, and he is ready to pounce as soon as there is space available. But because these front three are now battling, Braken Clays is starting to close up onto this battle, bring in Bleeding Sunrise, and is it Mornay with him, or is it GT5 King?
Temp Fear. It's Temp Fear bringing with him.
Okay, so it's yeah, it's getting very close for the lead. I'm wondering whether we're going to see anybody go for an undercut on this particular lap. No, the front runners are not looking like they're going to do it just yet.
Miss Hampton 44 is in a good position to try and attack Jamie James, though, but Jamie James has got DRS that he's going to be able to defend with, but Miss Hampton 44 has a look. So yeah, pit stop window opening up in a lap or two. Stocky is also pitted. He may have had a little bit of damage. It looked like his front wing was intact, though, but Stocky's now on the medium compound tyre, and he's pretty much dead last.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the skies so we can get a comparison of what it's like now to what it might be like later on, and I've already noticed it's starting to cloud over now from what it was at the start of the race. The shadows are not as dark as they were, so I'm wondering whether the track temperature may not be suiting these super soft tyres as well, because normally as the track temperature cools off, it's the harder compounds that prefer it, and that might also help Simo once again with him being on those medium compound tyres. But what can Miss Hamilton do now? He's got slipstream, he's got DRS, but he's chasing down a car that's got DRS. I don't think we're going to see an overtake unless he goes for a lunge. No, he thinks better of it. Maybe that is just a matter of saving fuel and being patient. He doesn't need to force the issue here. He doesn't need to get ahead of these cars at this point. They will be pitting before him. He just has to wait for them to move out of his way, basically. Okay, and Millstar, apart from the front three that we've got on screen at the moment, is there any battles happening a bit further down the field?
Well, you're asking about battles. Everyone is so close. I mean, 11th place is only 11.5 seconds off the lead. So
Acut has gone in for the pit lane. But Dave,
okay, I'll keep an eye on him.
Your name's not Millstar. Millstar, any battles happening down the field?
No, literally what Dave said. Up to 11th is quite congested, really, and everyone's in a sort of rigid gap between each other. After that, there's quite a big split between the drivers.
Yeah, Mr. Hamilton looked for an overtake on Jamie James into turn one, but couldn't make it stick. Jamie James has got it covered for this first sector, and I was quite surprised that Mr. Hamilton put his car in a bit of a precarious position there for a moment.
Okay, A-Cut has come out of the pits on a set of super soft tyres. Not a bad tactic that, because if the rain does come, he doesn't have to use a mandatory tyre. And he's got quite a bit of clear road ahead of him now. Coming to get you is a good 10 seconds up the road. So A-Cut comes out, clear traffic, fastest tyre. Could open up his gap at the lead here.
And Mr. Hamilton has opened up his DRS and he's going to have this move done on Jamie James heading down to the turn 12 left-hander, heavy braking point, but nicely done by Mr. Hamilton. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jamie James heading into the pit lane on this lap, especially if he wants to be racing against A-Cut for the rest of this race. He needs to be covering him off, and you'd think Jamie James would be trying to do exactly what A-Cut has done, and which is put on the, well, I say this, does he put on the super softs, or does he stick to a set of mediums or a set of softs, thinking,
well, that's the difficulty of it. Because
yeah, I mean,
if you put on super softs and it's not long they don't last long enough to get to the rain, then you've made a mistake. Somebody is heading into the pits, and who is it?
Jamie James.
It is Jamie James and Bleeding the Sunrise. I'll keep an eye on Jamie James for you, just to let you know. Tempfear has been coming under a bit of pressure from Mornay. Those guys are both on the soft compound tyres, and Jamie James has gone to the super soft compound tyre, so I'll keep an eye on whether he's going to come out ahead of A-Cut or not. It's going to be close, you know, because A-Cut is heading up towards turn 1 now. But I think A-Cut is ahead. Yes, he is. He's quite a long way ahead.
If he's a long way ahead, that's going to be the massive undercut on those tyres. Millstar, is that the right choice for Jamie James? Do you think that maybe he should have done something different to try and mix up the battle against A-Cut?
No, I think...
Your name's not Millstar.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, actually. I think that's the correct choice in terms of tyres. I think he'll get into the ring. So, yeah.
You're going quiet, Millstar. You need to speak up a little bit. Tempfear's under attack.
Yeah, he is under attack. He's got Mornay with DRS, but also Simo with DRS. So it's 3 wide.
He's not turned on his DRS. He hasn't got his DRS.
He has, just on your screen, it looks like he has, unfortunately. But 2 wide they are now. Tempfear, Mornay. Mornay's got the inside line. It's a move going to be done for Mornay, I think. But Simo, no, Tempfear's fighting it all the way around the outside. And now he's got the inside line for the next corner. And Mornay has ran wide. Is Simo going to be able to get past him? He's trying, he's attacking, but he's not close enough. But yeah, Jamie James made the right decision. Looking at how much time A-Cut gained, Jamie James made the right call. Question is, will the tyres last till the rain?
Yep, and that's the question that we're only going to answer later on when that rain starts to fall. If it falls. I mean, we've seen this season where we've had rain falling where it wasn't predicted, and maybe at this event we'll have no rain when it said it may.
Well, I'm on board with Bleeding Sunrise, who's into the pits now, putting on a set of soft compound tyres, and I can tell you there are dark clouds hovering above turn 1. GT5 King also into the pits for a set of super soft tyres for him.
So if there are drivers out on the soft tyres, would you, if that was you, Millstar, would you be trying to take them to the rain? Or would you actually think, do you know what, if I bolt on a set of super softs, I can go quicker until that rain comes? So what do you do?
I don't think the softs will last till the rain. I think the guys who started on the mediums will actually make it to when potentially when the rain starts. So if I was one of the soft runners, I'd pit as early as I could, considering they're not there.
Just to let you know, A-Cut, who was the first to pit, he's already caught up to the back of Coming to Get You, and I said he was about 10 seconds behind Coming to Get You. He may even be able to make a move on him. And I think Millstar could be right. The guys on the soft compound tyre might not be able to go until the rain comes, but those on the mediums will. A-Cut making the move, or Coming to Get You, going very defensive, but A-Cut is going to try and do it.
This could be costing him time.
It could, and Jamie James needs it too, because Jamie James is in 8th place, a couple of seconds behind these guys.
Yeah, and this is only going to help Jamie James catch up to the back.
Oh, braking clays.
Yeah, any idea what's happened to braking clays? We see it's retirement and left the session. I'm pretty sure if we're going to get news on that to find out whether it was terminal damage.
There's no terminal damage here. And, I don't know what that is. I think he's
Tempfear's coming under attack. Tempfear's coming under attack into turn 1. Mornay is having a look. He's going for the move up the inside. He's gone deep though. Hard on the brakes. Tempfear does the switchback. Keeps hold of 2nd place.
Well, Coming to Get You's gone defensive. A-Cut's going to have to try and make it round the outside. No, he's gone for the switchback up the inside of Coming to Get You, but he can't make it work So coming to get you on those medium compound tyres at the moment, doing a fantastic job. And
Aycott's looking aggressive.
yeah,
Very
he is
aggressive.
looking. Yeah, and it's sector 1 and sector 3 where Aycott's going to be have the advantage.
Tempfear is going to lose second place in a moment. His tyres look like they are struggling too much. He's sliding all over the place. Mornay right behind him needs to get a shift on because Simo is still right there. But yeah, down this back straight, I think we're going to see a little bit of fighting.
So Aycott didn't make the move on coming to get you. He is still behind him. DRS is going to pop open.
Side.
Yeah, he's going to have this move done now.
Keep position.
That is a crucial overtake for Aycott. He now needs to...
Steve, you need to be watching this battle for second place. They're 3 wide through these corners, and Mornay has managed to take second place. No, he hasn't. Side by side, they go around the long right-hander, and Mornay is holding it around the inside. So close to carnage, so close to carnage. And Tempfear into the pits. Does he know he just nearly lost control of the car? But yeah, his tyres are suffering. Oh, and Simo's car's just stopped dead.
Oh, we saw that in one of the other events, didn't we? In the World Championship Reserves. I think it was GT5 King that was participating, and it was like it hit an invisible wall and just stopped his car dead without damage, and then he was able to continue on again. That is something to be aware of. You do not want to be running slightly wide around that last corner. That is not a nice thing to happen to you.
It definitely isn't. It's cost him a few seconds and put Overdyking in play with him as well. Let's see. Aycott has got past coming to get you. He's now in 6th place, 14.5 seconds off the lead. But are his tyres going to last another 7-8 laps? He's going to have to hope that they do. And obviously as well, if it doesn't rain, the guys are going to have to remember that they need to use the mandatory tyre.
That is true. That is true. I'm thinking at the moment, what would Mr. Hamilton be thinking? He's got an 8-second gap to Tempfear. Does he play it safe, or does he just keep going until his tyres fall off his wagon?
Well, I mean, he may know that Stock is still sort of right at the back of the grid. I mean, let's see, where is Stocky? He's in 16th place at the moment, out of the points. So Mr. Hamilton can just take it easy now and make sure he doesn't do anything daft. And it's getting really dark out there now, guys.
Okay, DP, if you want to be on rain watch for us, I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming any time soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it in the next couple of laps. Tempfear not going for the pits. Mornay not going for the pits. Simo 911 on his medium tyres is not going for the pits. And surprising actually on that one lap alone how much Simo 911 was able to catch back up after having that incident at the last corner.
Well, that's the effect of having a little bit of clear air. I mean, Aycott, he's now on the back of Overdyking, and Jamie James is on the back of coming to get you. But yeah, just having a couple of seconds of gap for clear
sorry
air.
to interrupt. F1 Roadrunner's just crashed. He was battling with a Lycomar 05, and he's just hit the back of him then and gone spinning into the penultimate corner.
Disastrous for F1 Roadrunner then. Coming to get you is under a lot of pressure from Jamie James, and I think Jamie James is going to be looking to make this move as quickly as he can. And looking at how dark it's getting out there though, guys, I think this rain is pretty imminent.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, like I say, if it comes it's very, very soon. Jamie James then, this lap, this could be the lap where he makes the overtake on coming to get you. Is right up his chuff with his DRS open, goes to the inside, coming to get you, doesn't even defend, the move's done way before the braking zone. I think coming to get you just accepted that that was going to happen. Didn't want to lose too much time himself.
Exactly the same thing happened with Aycott on Overdyking.
Coming to get you looked like I was going to have another look back at him at the very next corner. Unable to make it work though. I'm surprised at how well those medium compound tyres are actually doing. 12 laps into the race and been able to put up a bit of a fight against super soft tyres. Just goes to show that even the hardest compound here have still got quite a bit of lap time in them. So
sorry to interrupt, looking at Simo. No, just going to say he looked like he was going to make a move there, but he decided not to go for it.
okay, that was turn 1 with Simo, and yeah, He has managed to catch right up to the back of Mornay, and I wouldn't be surprised if... Oh, we've got a good view of the dark clouds now. Yep, it is very dark out there, and can't quite see any moisture just yet. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Simo going for an overtake soon. Soft tyres, if people have qualified on them, 13 laps into the race, that is asking a lot out of soft tyres. Guys that started on them as new, if they were behind 10th on the grid, soft tyres, they're still going to be coming close to the end of the life at the end of this lap. So
I think, sorry to interrupt, I just think personally, now they're at a point, the guys who haven't pitted on the soft tyres have no choice but to go until the rain comes, because they should have pitted earlier, I think.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there on that one. But it's got to be in the back of their minds, isn't it, that what if it doesn't rain? You know,
yeah, but the clouds, we probably will.
Simo is right on the back of Mornay. I think the medium tyres are faster than the soft tyres. Side by side, nearly around the long right-hander. I think Simo needs to get a shift on, really, because if his tyres are better right now, he needs to maximise them.
Yep, where is the next car down the grid that is on medium compound tyres, DP, as Simo is lining him up? Yep. Okay, sorry, Simo has made the attempted overtake on Mornay up the inside into turn 1. Breaks it lovely, turns in nice, gets the power on nice, and Mornay can do nothing about it whatsoever. Simo is now up to P3. So coming to get you is the other car on medium tyres. And what position is he currently sat in?
He's in 8th place at the moment, 17.5 seconds off the lead. The problem for coming to get you and Simo is they needed the super soft and the soft tyre runners to pit and them not have to. But at the moment, the guys on the soft compound tyre are doing a fantastic job.
Sorry to interrupt, Eckhart is going for the move on Mornay here. On super soft tyres. It's gone on the inside and made it look very easy,
Yeah, he's struggling to get the power down a little bit out the straight, but with them super soft tyres, he's managed to make it work. He's got DRS as well. So he made that overtake and got DRS. So coming to get you, sorry, not coming to get you. Simo, Simo. Yeah. What did he do there, Millstar?
He just went from a late, he's gone for it again. He just went for a move on 10th field there, a bit late, and I don't think 10th field noticed him quickly enough, and then he's nearly steered out, but he's lucky and he's alright.
Yeah, I think at this point of the race, if I was on those soft compound tyres, it would be very tempting to just keep going, but they're going to fall off the cliff very soon, and you're going to have to think about doing something different to the other guys that you're battling, because
Ferrari's maybe about to switch position. Jamie James on a 2-stop. Well, he's already pitted. Overdyking hasn't. It's at the back of the train of cars that you're watching. I'm just wondering if Overdyking's going to let Jamie James go on.
Simo going for a move on 10th there. They're side by side into turn 2. Oh, they've touched! And the rain's falling, and the 10th there's kept the position.
The rain is falling. So DP, let us know if anybody hits that pit lane or when they hit that pit lane.
Simo! Yeah. He hit the back of the car ahead of him, sent him in a spin, and the Ferraris did do a switch of position. Jamie James has been freed up by Overdyking, and Jamie James is now right behind Mornay, and Acut is only just ahead of him, and I think my game has just crashed.
Oh dear, that is not good at all. We've got coming to get you now, trying to make the overtake on Simo, the two drivers on those medium compound tyres. It does say we've got a migrated host as DP has left the session, unfortunately. Fingers crossed he'll be able to get back in. If not, never mind. So Simo, 7th position after battling with 10th here. Let's have a look at the race leader, because he's going to be thinking about when to pit. So Mr Hamilton then on those soft compound tyres that he's done qualifying on, and 15 laps so far in this race. So you're looking at 17 laps worth of tyre wear on those tyres, and he's not pitting yet, even though we've got a bit of rain, and he's crossing the line for another lap. I could say, though, Millstar, it's not ready for the inters yet, though, is it? But at what point...
they're going to pits, both A-Car and 10th first. I'm assuming this is the intermediates right now.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if the...
Definitely not inters.
Definitely not inters? That's an interesting thing.
temp pit on Inters and so is Acot. They've looked at them on.
Okay.
I don't think it's Inters yet. I think this is early.
But if their tyre wear is at that point where they may get a puncture, may have no alternative at this point in the race. And I think Mr. Hamilton is probably one of the only cars out there that can afford to turn the engine mode down a little bit, save his tyres as we see him lock up into the hairpin. But yeah, he's one of the only cars out there that's got that bit of a buffer to someone, and he can afford to do it. So next car down the grid behind him is Mornay, which is 14 seconds further down behind him, who's under pressure from Jamie James.
I mean, he looks confident at the moment. I think he should pit this lap. Do you think he should pit this lap for Inters?
I would. Looking at what the rain is doing, Jamie James is making a move on Mornay, but will he get the car stopped into turn 12? The brakes are on. He's turned it in, and it looks like he has got it turned in nice. But Mornay's going for a switchback up the inside, but Jamie James has got it covered off as DP looks like he's been able to rejoin us back at the circuit, which is great news. Jamie James has gone off. He's lost big time to lots of time to Mornay. Stayed out for another one. He must be looking after those tyres phenomenally well. I'm wondering now then what Jamie James is going to do. What is Mornay going to do? Currently sat in second and third position here. So Jamie James, is he going to go for the pits? He's gone for the pit lane. So Jamie James into the pits. Mornay carries on for another lap. Overdykink in fourth place, carries on for another lap. Simo in fifth position on his medium tyres, carries on. Doesn't want the intermediates yet. So Jamie James then coming out on the Inters. You mentioned a few moments ago, was it Temp Fear and Acot when put the intermediate tyres on? How are they comparing?
Just check their lap time. Temp Fear, his lap time, he's only just set an out lap now, so we'll see how his laps are in the set. But he was, you could see the I can't even say the word. You could see the drop off in his times over the last few laps. So yeah, maybe it was a good decision for him to get onto the Inters. And Jamie James is looking tentative, to say the least, on the Inters. So maybe it's not time.
Maybe it's not. I've just seen Certek Karatepe's car going around ghosted. We saw a message come up saying he'd left the session. I'm wondering whether he got a bit of a disconnection there. Fortunate for him. Points are crucial for every team in the World Championship, as it will help them with their selection for next season.
Just so you know, Mosto, you've gone a little bit quiet there. I think you may have said that Acot is in a bit of a battle.
Yes, yeah. Acot's battling Temp Fair at the moment. This is for 9th place. They're both on the Inters. So we'll see how they do, especially with the braking on these Inters, getting used to longer braking here.
Well, with having the game crash, I'm a little bit out of sync of what's been happening, so I'm trying to sort of get my head around what has happened as Mornay has just dived into the pits that I'm guessing is going to be for a set of intermediates. But Overdykink nearly lost the rear end. He's under pressure from Simo. Simo's about to make a move on him.
Hamilton's just come out and pits on Inters as well, just in front of this.
He has, and he's been able to. Mr. Hamilton was able to pit and retake the lead.
This is his to lose now.
Yeah. But also we've got cars here we've got him on the intermediates. We've got Simo on mediums. We've got Overdykink on soft tyres. So all three different types of tyre there, and we're going to see which tyre is going to be the better compound to be on at the moment. I've got a funny feeling it's not quite ready for those Inters yet, but those soft tyre runners had no other option. They had to do something.
Oh, this is going to be a dive bomb. Simo's going for the move, and Mr. Hamilton, sorry to interrupt there.
That's fine. Did he get the move done?
No, traction, Mr. Hamilton on the traction, but he's side by side. You see, he has the better top speed, and it looks like it's Simo by quite a margin. And Overdykink as well, going for the double move here. Yeah. Hamilton doesn't do anything about it.
Just notice, the important thing there is DRS was still available. So does that mean then that the Inters are not quite in the window yet? As Simo is still fighting for that lead, Mr. Hamilton doesn't want to give it away. But if you're Mr. Hamilton, surely You don't want to put your car in too much of a precarious place.
Considering they're going to have to pit eventually, I would consider just leaving them and letting them go, save the tyres.
That is correct. I mean,
Well, here's a question for you guys, right? Okay, those people that have used the intermediate tyre, they don't have to go to the mandatory rules. Oh, I'm watching Temfear, he's just made a bit of contact with Bleeding Sunrise, totally locked up the brakes, and he's now under pressure from Acre. Three-way battle for 8th place right here. But yeah, okay, I don't think the Inters are ready. I think those guys that have stayed on slicks have made the right call, because I mean, my screen could be wrong, but it doesn't look like it's actually raining very heavy anymore. But I was going to say, those guys that have used Inters, the mandatory tyre doesn't count. But those guys that have stayed on the dries, does the mandatory tyre still count?
well, here's the thing. Yes, it does, but Simo has just pitted. What has he put on? Because he was battling against Mr. Hamilton on Inters, and I'm just wondering whether that has made his decision to switch on to Inters or
There's
not.
a three-way battle for 8th, as I'm about to check for that, between Bleeding Sunrise, Temfear and Acart. Simo is...
Temfear's going for the move into turn 1. He's managed to get through, but Bleeding Sunrise will be a little bit cautious about Temfear because he had a massive lock-up on the previous lap.
I'm starting to see a little bit more spray. The rain is still falling. So yeah, DP, have a look at Simo. Let us know what choice he made with his tyre compound on his pit stop that he just made.
Oh, Acart's crashed. Acart's crashed. He's just hit the back of Bleeding Sunrise.
That was just off camera. We were waiting for them to come into shot, and unfortunately, Acart did not come into shot. There he is now, though, and that
He
is...
hasn't lost any positions.
Well, you know, you asked about Simo. You might want to have a look at him.
Is he on full wets? Let's have a look. No, he's gone to the soft tyres.
I think
Okay.
that may be a wide move.
Is it a wise move, or is it in 2 laps' time he's going to have to put the Inters on?
See, I think that it's been like this for quite a few laps, and GT5 can go away. I just think that it's going to go. He's going to be able to manage these until it goes back to dries. So he's effectively getting 20 seconds.
Well, the car ahead of him is GT5 King, who's on super soft tyres, and Simo's having a look up the inside, makes the move. GT5 King's going to get hung out, I would say, to dry, but it's going to get a little bit damp out there. But yeah, Simo's obviously feeling that the slick tyre's the better tyre to be on as he gets a little bit twitchy. And let's see, Overdyking, he's on intermediate tyres. If Simo catches up to Overdyking quite comfortably, then Simo may have made a great call.
GT5 King is just pitted. I'm just going to check what tyres he goes for.
What's happened to Jamie James? He's just pulled off the circuit. No, he's back on again. I'm just wondering, he might have been struggling to get the power down on those intermediate tyres.
I'm going to have a quick look at some lap times because obviously it's a feature that people want to know. Let's see. Okay, Mr. Hamilton 44, his last few laps on the soft compound tyre were 142, 144, 149 when he pitted. His best intermediate tyre time is a 153. Let's see, GT5 King. His last couple of laps on the super soft tyres, which were probably quite worn, 145, 150, 155. I think it's very, very close as to what's the best tyre to be on.
James, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
He's in the battle with Simo, and I think that was Mornay. Mornay's gone for an excellent move down the inside of both of them. And then Jamie James is taking Simo, so I think now it may be intermediates.
Yeah, that
Well,
move from
interestingly-
Mornay was unbelievable.
Now Jamie James is about to mug him though. So side by side, Jamie James, Mornay is coming to get you in the background, going to have a look at a move. He is going to have a look at a move. I think it has now got to the point where the Inters are better. And one of the reasons I say that was I had a look at Simo's Sector 1 time. It was a 31.0. Mr. Hamilton 44's was a 29. So Simo, I'm guessing, hasn't made the right call. Coming to get you side by side with Simo now. But yeah, absolutely everything kicking off here at the minute.
It could be, though, that it may be the right call for Simo if he doesn't lose 20 seconds by the time it gets dry.
Well, that's what I was about to just mention, sort of touch on what you were saying there. If it does go
But he's gone
dry
off.
again...
Sorry, Simo.
Struggling.
Yeah, penultimate corner.
It's really wet in Sector 1, guys. It's really, really wet.
I don't know why he hasn't pitted. He stayed out.
Sometimes you make a decision and you stick with it, and he's probably at the moment Maybe his engineer, he can't stop the car though for turn one. Maybe he's been told by his engineer this rain is not going to last much longer, but unfortunately it's just got a little heavier before it stops, and he is going to start falling down the field. So the guys on the intermediates now are making up.
Yeah. Has just gone straight past them for 7th.
Yeah, and that's the advantage of being on the right tyres at the right time.
Jamie James is on the back of Mornay for 3rd place. I think Mornay's going to be finding himself dropping down to 4th place. But the biggest winner at the moment through these difficult conditions is over Dykink. He must have been in about 6th or 7th place when he pitted, or before I got disconnected anyway. He's now in 2nd place on the intermediate tyres, so he's matched for strategy with Mr. Hamilton 44.
Yeah, and
oh, Mornay's gone deep. Mornay's gone very deep. That's going to allow Jamie James a free move into 3rd place.
I'm just wondering if you noticed on that back straight whether the DRS wings were open or not, because I think it may have now got too wet for the DRS, because we don't get notification like the drivers do. So yeah, I'm just thinking now that the DRS is not in force at the moment, enabled, should we say.
I couldn't see or at least I didn't look on that previous lap, so I can't tell you right now, but I'm guessing with the conditions as they are now, I think it may have just been disabled.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that. Millstar, yeah, I think you may have backed off the mic a little bit too much, couldn't quite catch what you were saying.
Yeah, I was just speaking quietly there, I don't know what I was doing.
Was that a Murray Mumble moment? Okay. DP, could you read through the current positions for us, please?
Yeah, no problem. If any of the viewers are confused about what's going on, don't be surprised. I think the drivers are as well as us in the commentary box. Okay, leading the race at the moment is Mr. Hamilton 44. He's made 1 stop. Over Dykink is in 2nd. He's also made the 1 stop. Jamie James is now in 3rd. He's made 2 stops. And Mornay 4th with the 1 stop. Coming to get you up to 5th. Temp Fear in 6th. Bleeding Sunrise in 7th. A-Cut now in 8th. GT5 King in 9th. Simo down to 10th place. Stocky in 11th, Urchum at 12th, F1 Roadrunner 13th, Hammer Time 14th, Alaikamal 15th, Duofin 16th, and Sertak Karatape in 17th, although I think he's been disconnected. Breaking Clays is also unfortunately out of the race.
Thank you very much for watching Mornay and Jamie James at the moment. Millstar, if you see any other cars getting close together, shout it out, let us know if there's any overtakes that may be happening, as Jamie James goes a little bit wide there. Mornay makes up a bit of ground on him, and I can see this being a battle to the finish line between these two drivers. They've been at it all race so far, and it's okay.
Well, I was going to quickly mention, we'll do quickly mention question of the day again. I've been looking as well as Jamie James is about 7 seconds off his teammate. I'm curious as to whether he's going to be able to close that gap in. The gap between 1st and 2nd is 20 seconds. Okay, so question of the day, if you want to have a guess at the answer of this one, it's a little bit of a riddle. So here goes. I'm not open and I'm not closed, but I can be full or empty. What am I? So get your answers in on the YouTube chat, and I'm sure GP and Millstar will attempt to get to this one right again.
What is it? Differential?
Oh, it's a good guess. It's a good guess, but I'm not going to tell you if you're right or not. So. Actually, no, I will. You're wrong. Okay, so Jamie James still 27, nearly 28 seconds off the leader. Mornay right behind him. And coming to get you, I think he's closing up the gap to them as well. Is he bringing Tenfair along with him? No, Tenfair's a little bit too far back. But coming to get you, I mean, his strategy was basically the same as Simo's, but I think coming to get you made it work a little bit better. Let me say, pre-race comments we can go through, guys, if you want to pick on a driver, and we can shout out their pre-race comments as we're into the last 5 laps of the race.
Well, let's do looking down the order of who we've got in on the circuit at the moment. We've done the Red Bull with Mr. Hamilton. We've done the Ferraris. We've done Mornay, I believe.
No, we haven't.
If we haven't, then let's do the Williams team.
Okay, Mornay. He was asked, looking at the standings, you're in a close battle in both the drivers' standings and the constructors. Is this something that is on your mind when racing? And if so, how could this change your approach to this event? And Mornay said, I'm aware that in this part of the season, every single point matters. So I will, as I've been doing the last part of the season, try to maximise my speed and get as many points as possible. A top 5 is my goal. And he's on target for that at the moment, being in 4th place. But coming to get you is definitely gaining on him. Mornay's teammate, GT5 King, we've already mentioned GT5 King, but coming to get you is in 5th. And we spoke to him before the race and said, being only 25, that's a new, 24, I've turned into a bit of a farmer. Being only 25 points from 3rd place in the driver's standings, is 3rd your aim this season? To which coming to get, he said, hello guys, with the gap to 3rd, well, my aim was 5th in the championship from the day I was given my seat within the Force India team at Austria in round 9. But also to drag Force India away from the bottom of the table in the constructors. So my goal is now within reach. But if I can take a 3rd in the championship and go above my goal, well, it'll be a great first half of a season with front row racing. 4 rounds left, 4 drivers fighting, let the battle begin. And interestingly as well, the driver that's holding on to the 3rd place in the drivers' standings is over Dyking, who's currently in 2nd, but I think Mornay is attacking Jamie James.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Mornay. It looks like he was up alongside. Yeah, he just can't quite get his power down on the exit of the corner there. Is this down to setup? Is this down to how much you push down on that right pedal? I'm pretty sure both these guys use wheels, and it could be down to how much of a heavy right foot they have got. As Certex managed to rejoin, but unfortunately his race is done with. Yeah, so if this is say for instance aero, and maybe Jamie James is benefiting at this point in the race, if it dries up, then you've got to say it's going to start favouring Mornay. So DP, you were mentioning about over Dyking as the driver that's in 3rd place in the driver's standings and is currently running in in 2nd place in this race. What about the constructors? How are the constructors' positions? The battles that we spoke about at the start of the event, how are they looking compared to where drivers are?
Well, it's quite interesting at the moment. I mean, with the constructors' standings, I mean, Danish Dragons Red Bull are on 368 points before today's points get added. As Mornay still very close to Jamie James, by the way. I think the Danish Dragons Red Bull are going to gain more points than Mercedes here. They're going to open up that gap because Stocky isn't in the points and both Red Bull drivers are. As the Ferrari goes, if they finish 2nd and 3rd, they've got a damn good chance of taking back 3rd place in the constructors' standings. As for Williams, well, if Williams finish where they do, they're going to move up a position in the standings as well. So we could have a lot of changes in the constructors' standings after this race.
Yep, and just to remind everyone that the race result today will be provisional. Why would it be provisional, DP?
Well, after the race, the drivers get the opportunity to place reports on drivers that have perhaps crashed into them or there's been accidents or whatever, and stewards need time to look into those. But also the drivers, it is a mandatory requirement for the drivers to record their event footage and supply it to the race directors, and then all of the drivers have all of the footage available to them to check if they wish. Drivers' pit entries, corner cutting, stuff like that. So if somebody is extending the track, or shortening the track, we should say, then everybody has the opportunity of saying, hang on a minute, don't think this is quite right. So obviously time is needed for that as well. And then obviously a bit of time for potential appeals. So yeah, it takes a little bit of time to get all that stuff sorted. So the result today is provisional until all of that has been dealt with, and then the results can be confirmed. And I'm just wondering, guys, Is the rain lifting a little bit with 1.5 laps to go?
Star, what do you reckon?
I think it is a little bit, but I don't think it's going to lift in time for any significant strategy changes. Closest battle I can see, by the way, is F1 Roadrunner and Hammer Time of 13th and 14th.
Let's have a look.
Closest battle I can see is still this third. Mornay's going to be close enough for the move. I think DRS is not available, so he may struggle to make a move, but he's going for it. He's having a look. No, decides to back out of it. But I think Mornay realises he's got to get a shift on. If the opportunity's there, he's got to take it, because coming to get you is catching these guys up, and he will make a move if the opportunity is there, because if Mornay's being held up, then it could put him in a situation of being mugged. So yeah, Mornay frantic to try and make the move past Jamie James at the moment, and I'm trying to think, if Jamie James actually holds on to the third place, it might be the first time this season that both Ferrari drivers have been on the podium.
You might actually be the first time the Ferrari drivers have been on the podium together for 2 seasons. But we'll have to ask them that if they manage to do it.
They did last season, I'm sure.
Come on, Mornay. Finish third, then we don't have to ask them the question. Okay, so Mornay is not as close as I was expecting him to be. Coming to get you, not able to make any grounds up there either. Fuel usage around here, Millstar, any idea whether the conditions they've had today would have been any problem with fuel?
Just looking through the drivers, no one looks like they have any fuel warnings or anything, so it looks like they've managed it well. So no, I don't think fuel was really relevant today.
Okay, so if Mornay wants to run rich, then there's a good chance Jamie James will be as well, which is only going to make the overtakes even more difficult, as we've got 1.5 laps of this race left to go. And I know we've not shown much of Mr. Hamilton leading this race, it's because he's pretty much had it all his own way for the majority of it. Over Dykink in second place, we've not really seen anything of him. He's just shot through the field at the right time, getting onto those intermediates at the right time. Jamie James has been on the footage pretty much all the way through the race for one reason or another, along with Mornay. And yeah, Jamie James leading the event from the first corner for quite a few number of laps. And obviously the rain starting to mix things up once it started to fall.
There is another battle out there on track, which I think Millstar mentioned a little while ago. Bleeding Sunrise is being chased by A-Cut, but A-Cut not quite close enough to do anything about it at the moment.
Okay, I'd say Mornay is closer to Jamie James now than he has been for a long time, as they go around that long right-hander. It's difficult to follow through there in the dry, never mind the wet, but he's got to get close to him. So
Actually, just want to quickly mention as well, there is another battle out there on track at the moment, and it's between Erna Urchum in 12th, F1 Roadrunner in 13th, and Hammer Time in 14th. They're quite close to each other, so that might develop on the last lap of the race. But I just want to check, because Mr. Hampton 44 is on at the last lap of the race, so I'll give you a shout when he gets to the last few corners.
Okay, when you give me a shout, obviously, then let me know when, because I will like to see more Mr. Hamilton crossing the line. But I've got a funny feeling, just as we go to see Mr. Hamilton, Mornay might make a move for this last podium position. Coming to get you, starting to close in on him. He'll be wishing there was only a few more laps left in this race as well. Sorry that we've not been changing the camera from these cars. That's because this is a good battle here for the last podium position, and Jamie James is doing a great defensive job at the moment against Mornay.
Mornay's going to... Oh, he knew he was going to go for it there. He is! Is he going for it? They've touched.
Has he got the power down? I don't think he can. It looks like he's going to tuck in for the slipstream. He's going to have to do it under braking.
Okay, just so you know, Mr. Hamilton 44 is heading into the last couple of corners, so you might want to keep an eye on that battle that you're on. But Mr. Hamilton 44 is going to go and take the victory here in America.
Well done to Mr. Hamilton then for taking that. We're not moving away from this footage. Millstar, talk us through these last couple of corners between these cars.
Okay, Mornay's got to do something drastic here, and he's going for it. He's going down the inside. This is going to be... Oh, he's backing off. I think that may be his last opportunity for that third place. Having to get 85 is really closed in over those last few corners. Mornay really wanted that, but I don't think he's going to get in now. So, is it? Oh, is it? Jamie James has lost traction. No, I think he's going to keep the position. Yes, he is. Good battle, that.
It is a
Sunrise is really under pressure from A-Cut. They're so close, 7th and 8th. A-Cut's up the inside into the penultimate corner, side by side into the final corner. A-Cut sneaks ahead into the last corner, but can Bleeding Sunrise do anything about it? You may not be able to see it, folks, but they are almost side by side across the line, and A-Cut takes it, but we don't know what penalties are going to come into a play yet.
And that's exactly what I was just about to mention. We had 3 cars cross the line all within about 2 seconds of each other, and if there's any of them have got penalties, that's going to make a massive amount of difference to their finishing position.
I think the worst loser, sorry to interrupt, I think the worst loser out of this race, just seeing him cross the line now, is Simo. He was in quite a high position for most of that race, but got his strategy wrong and was finishing 10th.
I would agree with you.
That battle for 12th is not over. Erna Urchum, F1 Roadrunner, hammer time. They're within a couple of seconds of each other as they approach the final few corners. But it looks like Erna Urchum is going to have 12th in the bag, unless he makes a mistake in the final corners. F1 Roadrunner, he's pushing it as hard as he can, way too sideways. But yeah, Erna Urchum looks like he's going to be safe for 12th.
I would agree with Millstar about Simo finishing 10th position being like one of the biggest losers, but I think the biggest loser today has been Stocky. Not scoring a point in 11th position is disastrous, especially when you consider Mr. Hamilton has finished in position 1. Just a reminder for my commentators, if you'd like to take a quick screenshot without the penalties on the top and bottom, that would be great. I've got a lot of drivers for normal names, I should say. F1 names.
That's right. In the Drivers' Championship standings, Mr. Hamilton 44, he had a 5-point gap anyway. If this result stands, that's a 30-point gap he's got into the last 3 races.
Yeah, and 3 races to go with 30 points. That is a tall ask for Stocky. Not impossible. Anything can happen in Formula 1, and what does it normally happen? What normally happens? I normally cock up what I'm trying to say. So there you go. Summarise that for us, DP.
Frantic. Absolutely frantic. Great race though, great race. I want to just quickly go through the remaining drivers' pre-race comments. Obviously it's post-race now, but just before we invite in the podium sitters, I want to quickly run through these. Hammer Time 95 was asked, do you feel your season is reflected fairly when looking at the drivers' standings? And he said, the standings haven't reflected how I've performed, as I only switched to the wheel from Hungary and the game doesn't suit me at all. And that's another reason why I have struggled more than expected, and I have DNF'd quite a lot this season, which by my standards isn't good enough. Next season I will do better, and hopefully the game suits me better with my new teammate, which will be revealed soon. Erna Urchum was asked, what are your targets you want to achieve by the end of the season? And Erna Urchum said, my aim is to get some points. Sertak Karatepe was asked, looking at the constructor standings, how far do you up the order do you think how far up the order do you think your team can finish? He said, hi, this race will be tough for us. I tried lots of setup combinations, but I'm still far away from a sweet spot. As usual, I'm going to choose a balanced allocation of tyres, but there's only 3 races left, and in fact we can't expect much laps in the constructors standings. But both my teammate and I are going to try our best tonight. If there is rain, I believe I can make a better final standings after all. But unfortunately, it did rain, but Sertak had connection issues. A-Cut, an interesting one for me that I want to have a look at, because pole position, but again, a very difficult race. He was asked, your teammate has only 8 points this season. Will you beat him by the end of this season? And A-Cut said, hello guys, my goal is to collect as many points as possible together with my team colleagues. Of course I would try to beat him. Another thing is I would like to deliver with Simo 911 until the end of the season, a hard fight. So he wants to take the fight to Simo. He said, I hope we fight next season for the World Championship. So A-Cut's already looking into next season. Braken Clays, A-Cut's teammate. Your new teammate has received a disqualification for no footage at the last event. Is this something you've discussed with him? He said, I haven't discussed it with him, but I will talk to him. And he said, interestingly, he was probably the only one that mentioned rain. He says, the tyres I would go for is balanced because rain could be predicted at Austin, and the hard tyres are very uncomfortable for me. Unfortunately, it was a race to forget for Braken Clays. Simo, man of many words, as we know, was asked, what's more important to you, beating Overdijking in the driver's standings or beating the Ferrari in the constructor's standings? And he said, I don't know, it doesn't matter, I do this for the show. And he definitely put on a show today. It's just very unfortunate. And finally, F1 Roadrunner was asked, what's your focus on? Is it the drivers or constructor standings? Also, do you and your teammate talk to each other more than you do to me? That's to Steve, that is. And F1 Roadrunner said, myself and my team do talk pre-race to set strategy. Our focus is constructors tackling each race at a time to grab maximum points possible.
Okay, as DP then now invites the podium 3 in, which will be Mr. Hamilton, Overdijking and Jamie James, unless there was any penalties at the end there that I didn't see that switched around the positions.
No, there was no penalties for about the top 5 drivers. I think Tempfield was the first on the list with a penalty.
Don't tell him that. Okay, Millstar, what are your thoughts then on what we've seen here today?
Can you just repeat that, because I think you lagged a bit.
I was just saying, what were your thoughts on the World Championship and your commentating today in the World Championship?
The race itself was actually quite good, interesting to watch, and I think Mr. Hamilton really got his strategy like perfect, to be honest. And he took the win, obviously, starting from quite far back. And commentating was fun. It was decent commentating. There's a lot happening to keep up with.
Yeah, and before the commentary started, you were saying, are we going to have many cars there today? It's almost as if you were worried. But yeah, there's a lot can happen when you've got near enough a full grid. All but one car turned up today, so yeah, quite a lot for us to discuss. DP,
and all of the drivers have joined them on the podium, I believe.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so for my top 3 drivers, then our top 3 drivers, the World Championship podium of Mr. Hamilton 44, Overdijking and Jamie James. We'll go to Mr. Hamilton first, as he's taken the provisional victory here. And I'm going to offer this opportunity to my co-commentator today, Millstar. Millstar, would you like to ask the race winner some questions?
Obviously, today you've won the race from I think it was 6th on the grid. Then your title rival Stocky has obviously fallen and finished in 10th. Do you think this was the race where you've won the championship?
Still 3 races to go, so not everything is decided yet, but obviously it's a huge step towards the title, since Stocky didn't score any points today.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, do you want another question, Millstar, or are you okay with just the one?
No, that's pretty much what I want to ask.
Okay. Were you concerned then, Mads, starting in 6th position with having 5 cars ahead of you? Was it a concern?
I think I started 7th, but never mind. Yeah, of course it was a concern, and I was sitting in the first corner on my rear left and nearly spun, but managed to keep it together. And from then on, I just drove quite carefully, without taking any major risk, and just sticking to the front with I think was Jamie James and Eichert.
Yeah. Now, with the rain when it came, would you say the rain came at the perfect time for you to switch off those soft compound tyres? Or was you basically forced into having to come off the soft tyres?
For 4 or 5 laps, I was just praying for the rain, to be honest, because my tyres were going off. So it was nearly the optimal time that the rain came.
Yeah, and I will apologise that we didn't see much of you on the broadcast, mainly because you ran away with it with a nice healthy margin, so congratulations with that. I just want to ask DP if he's got a question for you.
My only question, if you've already answered it, I'll apologise, I wasn't really listening, I was checking up on a few things. While you were driving round, was there any point where you sat there thinking, where's Stocky, and did you have anybody telling you what's going on with him, what the situation is? Did you know?
I tried to ask my teammate a few times during the race where Stocky was, but he didn't know. He thought he was ahead of him, so I was guessing Stocky was 4th or 5th or 5th. in
Okay.
the race, and I was quite surprised to see him down in 11th.
Well, he was down dead last at one point, which is perhaps why coming to get you didn't know exactly where he was.
It's not coming to get you. It's his teammate.
Bleeding Sunrise.
Bleeding Sunrise. My
Yeah.
apologies. Well,
Sunday.
either way, that's all right. You got to make mistakes on commentary. They'll wind me up about it next week, I'm sure. I mean, it does kind of show though that in a way, as a driver, it would be nice to be able to see what position every driver is in. Because I mean, did it play on your mind enough that it affected how you raced? Because had you known he was dead last, would you have approached it differently?
No, not today. When I was in the lead, I knew just had to keep it together and put in the laps and keep it on the track and get it home.
And
Good stuff.
yeah, you did that very well. We'll come back to you in a moment, Mad, so don't leave us because we'll have question of the day for you. And trust me, it's a cracker today. Oh, is that the answer, Dave? Is it a cracker?
No, it's not a cracker.
Okay, all right. So, second on the podium then, on second step, we've got Over Dykink. Good evening, Dom. How are you?
Yeah, well, I'm good.
I kind of
You
feel...
weren't I was going to say you weren't at the end of qualifying, but now you're good.
Obviously.
I kind of feel like I should talk to you and your teammate together on the podium and do it a little bit different. So, if that's okay with DP, we're going to ask you as kind of like questions to both of you at the same time. So I want to welcome James onto the podium as well, because it's been some time since you two as teammates have been on the podium together. When was the last time you were both on?
Go on, Tom.
Abu Dhabi last season.
So, last race of last season
Don't
then.
bring back those painful memories.
In fact, then that must be a repeat then of the podium that we've got today, because I believe Mads won that race.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was, yeah.
that's true. By about the same margin, probably.
Yeah. So, Dom, then, if first of all, if you could just kind of fill in a gap in the race for us that we don't quite understand, and that is, it started raining, and then you're in second place. What happened?
Yeah. Well, I had a qualifying obviously didn't go to plan. With the game crashed, which has happened I think 2 or 3 times this season already. So that was me starting from the back again. So that got me pumped up for the race, didn't it? And then after that, I managed to work my way through the field nicely, and I know the reason why Stucky was that far back because I had a bit of contact with him, I believe, coming out of turn 1.
Was it your fault?
I was overtaking him for not by my footage anyway. Car was nice and stable coming out of turn 1, and the next thing I saw was Stocky going into the barrier. So, yeah, unfortunate for Stocky obviously, but working my way nicely through the field, and obviously the rain came out at the perfect time for these softs because I opted to start on the softs. And from there on, Simo was pretty much the only one I was battling for the position once the guys in front went in too early. And then Simo came out on softs, so he's obviously made a mistake there. But sometimes you have to take advantage of others' misfortunes, and that's what I've done today.
Yeah, you did exactly that. Johnny James, then, quick question to yourself. How did the rain affect your race? And if you could start it again, would you change anything? Would you do anything different?
No, we both, like me and Dom discussed, we both expected the rain at some point, and luckily I had Cal engineering. He told me go to the super soft for the second stint. Hopefully it would time it perfectly for the rain. It did. The only thing I did wrong was I didn't listen out for the message to say, oh, there's an alternate strategy coming this lap. I sort of jumped the gun because my tyre seemed like horrendous. So basically I just jumped the gun on the pit, and Dom and the rest stayed out 2 laps, and that's how Dom jumped me.
Still a great finish for you though, considering your positions that you've finished in positions this season. To be on the podium today.
I have got no clue how this has happened. I couldn't write it down for you if I had hundreds of pieces of paper. Like literally, I basically asked Dom for his setup in the lobby. He read it out to me. I changed a little few bits, not a lot, and I went to qualifying. Somehow put it on second. I know others were doing soft runs, but come on, like what am I doing?
Yeah,
Um,
and also next time you say can't, try and say it in a little bit different because it sounds a bit rude.
Sounds a bit like Gino on Celebrity Juice when he says
Yeah.
it. I mean, I want to say that. I want to say that. Okay, Overdyking has had. I mean, it's an unfortunate game crash which a couple of people have suffered with during that race. I mean, I did. All I did was go to switch camera, and the game. And it's a problem that Cody's really need to make sure is not in the next game. That's for sure. So one Ferrari has a disastrous qualifier. I mean, James, just before you set your time, we saw GT5 King put in a great lap that put him on provisional pole. When you guys saw that, were you like, well, I can do better than that? I mean, no disrespect to GT5
no,
King,
well,
but
no, this is the thing, no, because we were like, because funny enough, Rian said in a lobby yesterday, oh, I'm doing 139s in quali, that's quick, isn't it? And I thought, no, it's not, Rian. And then he does a 36.6,
yeah.
and I'm thinking, that's bloody brilliant.
Yeah, it was a really good lap. So, I mean, for yourself, when you put your lap in, because I think we may have seen that as well. No, sorry, we didn't see that. My apologies, because you snuck in. I mean, what was the lap like? I mean, did it? You said it surprised you a bit, but was it like a, oh, hang on, this is all right, or was it a total full-on, hang on a minute, I've got a chance of winning this?
Oh, there's no chance of that happening. Hang on, DP, come on, I'm not
Hey, come on, you've won races before.
Yeah, I have, but this game, like I said, I've said it before, so numerous times
That's
to
like 10
Steve.
years ago.
I've said it numerous times. This game. I just doesn't suit me. This game. I don't like it. I'm hoping the next one's gonna be a bit better. But I don't. When during the qualifying, like, I just thought it felt good to her. I've not had a car feeling that good for ages, and luckily it was Dom's setup. I did make a couple of mistakes, so I could have potentially found a couple of tenths, but other than that, I was pretty happy, surprised, and all at the same time. So, yeah. Fantastic.
So, my last question for the both of you is: you had very different ends to the race. Dom, your end looked quite comfortable. You had a gap to the leader, you had a gap behind. So, what was your sort of mentality in that phase? But also, Jamie James, yours was totally the opposite. You had no gap behind you. So, what was your mentality on that one? Dom, you first, if you would.
Obviously, I was taking it quite easy because I knew that I had a gap to Mr. Hamilton, and I knew he was quicker. Even if I would have qualified today, I think P2 would have been the best result by far I could have got. So in that sense, I might as well not qualify for the last 3 races and see what happens. But obviously I was taking it easy, and I was telling James to take it easy like every lap because I knew Mornay was quite close behind him. In fact, I think I was looking at the track map more than the actual track in the last couple of laps. But I'm happy James
don't get too cocky.
It's true though. No, for me it was obviously easy, but for James it was quite a bit different.
So, James, your end to the race.
Yeah, like he said, I mean, Mornay's come up trumps, hasn't he, this year? I'm well impressed with him considering where he was last year to this year. And he pushed me all the way. I couldn't get, like Dom and Cal were both saying, oh, just break the slipstream, James, and you'll be fine. And I just couldn't do it. It was like he was harassing me all the time. We had a few good battles. He had a few niggles at me. Not contact, just like a few side-by-side moments. But no, it was nervy. Don't get me wrong. It was very nervy, and I'm just glad that I managed to convert it. Yeah, very impressive. Yeah, very happy.
Yeah, well done to the both of you. Millstar, you got any questions for Overdyking or Jamie James?
Sort of following for Jamie James. One question, right? You were battling with Mono for like the last, I think it was 5 laps. Would you say that you can take a positive out of? No, I've completely messed up my question. I don't know what I'm saying. You were battling with Mono for the last 5 laps. Did you think when you started battling that you would keep the position until the end, or did you think you were dead set for 4th?
No, I said to Dom, because Dom said Dom said about 3 laps ago, we got this in the bag, James, and I went, all right, don't say that too soon. Because I knew Mornay was quick, and like, at the start of the fight, I started to keep the gap to him, but it kept getting closer and closer. And also, so to answer your question, I did not know. I was just hoping to keep it clean, I didn't get any penalties, so that was good. And yeah, it was just a nervy last lap.
Okay, nice.
Sorry, boys. I know I shouldn't do this, but I've really got to go out. Can I leave the comms box? Is that all right?
Yeah, it's all right. You can go and do your pub quiz.
Ah, cheers, pal.
You're welcome. Well
Cheers,
done.
boys.
Well done.
Cheers, pal. See you
Yeah,
later.
man. Good race.
See you in a bit. I just want to come in and say something to Dom, and that is about your game crashing in the qualifying session. It was only last week I had a driver actually mentioning it to me, that every single time in qualifying, if they go onto the monitor, the game will crash. Every single time they go onto the monitor in qualifying, the game will crash, and that's just his particular experience. So I'm not saying don't go onto the monitor, but if you're able to get your teammates tell you what the weather's going to be, maybe you can avoid going onto the monitor.
Yeah, get him to go onto the monitor and have his game crash.
Yeah. But I don't know whether it's certain circuits or whether it's certain people's games or what, but it does seem to be a certain issue with certain people.
Well, obviously, I'm probably not the only one that's looked at the monitor in this particular race, so I don't know if it is that exact problem, but yeah, obviously it was very unfortunate, and it's not the first time it's happened to me either this season, so yeah, was quite mad at the time, but very happy. I actually still don't know how I got from P16 to P2,
Well,
but
I mean,
I'll take it anyway.
It's an interesting one for you. I mean, and this is kind of aimed sort of slightly to Mads as well, and it would have been to Jamie James if he was still here. The way your qualifying ended, it put you on a strategy that just worked for the weather. So the good luck outweighs the bad luck by a long way. And for Mr. Hamilton 44, I mean, Mads, in qualifying, you actively were choosing to go for the soft compound tyre. I mean, did it ever appeal to you to go for the super soft tyre, knowing that there are a number of cars ahead of you?
No, not really. I wanted a tyre that could go until the rain was coming. Yeah.
Okay, I've got 2 more questions for the both of you. Next race, Mads, it's Mexico. Are we expecting another win and getting even closer to the championship title?
Mexico haven't been one of my best tracks, but I just hope to stay close to the top and score some good points and keep well ahead of Stocky in the championship.
Okay, good stuff. And over Dykink, I mean, obviously it's Mexico, and last season's Mexico was absolutely soaking wet, where yourself and James both had good races. Do you think you could possibly look into or even actively replicating today's result?
I hope so. Mexico is one of my better tracks actually, so obviously looking for a similar result because we are still battling Toro Rosso for third, and I'm still battling Seymour in the driver standings for third. So we'll try and do our best. This was my bogey track, so it's good that I finished this high up. I never would have expected to finish this high up. So it can only go better at the next 2 races.
Okay, and my final question is going to be the question of the day, which unfortunately nobody's attempted to guess it on YouTube, and I think it's because it's just too hard. So we'll see how our remaining podium drivers get on with this one. So, are we ready, guys? For anyone that's watching that does want to have a guess at this, get your guesses in pretty quick as well. Okay, it's a riddle. It's an easy riddle if you know the answer, but it's a riddle. Okay.
Easy riddle if you know the answer.
I'm not open and I'm not closed, but I can be full or empty. What am I? So, Mr. Hamilton 44 from a Racing GP's had about 400 guesses at this since yesterday and has still not got it right. So would you like to think about this and have a guess? I'll remind you again. I'll remind you again so you can have a little think. It's a riddle. Okay, I'm not open and I'm not closed, but I can be full or empty. What am I?
Oh my god, I got it.
The Real Star says he's got it. I bet he hasn't. So come on then, Mr. Hamilton 44.
I have no idea, really.
Well, you're going to have to think of something. Oh, you're going to have to think of something. Overdyking, come on, give us a guess.
It's not open. It's not closed. It can be full and it can be empty. What is that? What is that kind of question? Who comes up with these questions?
It's a good one.
Absolutely dire.
It's a good one.
I think I know it.
Well, go on then. What's the answer?
Come on then, Millstar. Come on, GP. Give us the answer.
My guess is, you know those things, right? You know the bank, right? You know those things outside the bank, which are like machines, and they're always open. You know what I'm talking
The
about?
cash machines?
Yeah, that's what it's called, a cash machine.
No, it's not one of those. See,
Okay.
Millstar thinks he knows, he doesn't. Come on
Petrol,
then, GP.
petrol tank.
No.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
come on.
that.
Come on, this is what it's been like for the last 2 days with GP. Is it this? No. Come on, Mr. Hamilton 44, come on. Save us from the desperation.
It's not open.
Is it a glass?
Is it a what?
No.
Well, I didn't hear what Dom said.
He said, is
glass.
it a glass?
A glass.
Not quite.
No, not quite. That's
But you're
A mug.
close. No. Would you like me to put you all out of your misery? And
No,
once I
come
do, I'm doing a runner
yeah,
because they're going to
thanks.
kill me for this one. Okay, are you ready? As I said, it's a riddle. I'm not open and I'm not closed, but I can be full or empty. What am I? A jar!
Well, a jar, glass. It's the same thing, isn't it?
A
That
jar!
was the most
nearly.
anticlimactic.
But it had Front Row Racing GP doing his nutting for 24 hours, so it was worth it.
I actually
Also,
thought.
you should have heard Millstar before this event, right? I says, hey, Millstar, see if you know the answer to this. We'll give you one guess. 30 guesses later, we're like, look, give it a break. You're all right. He still kept going and couldn't get it. But anyway, there we go. Right, Steve, time to wrap up.
I was going to say jar, and I thought, no, it's not going to be something that stupid.
It was.
Yeah.
It really was.
All right, well, you wait until my next question of the day. How many times did DP say diddle-a-doo? Anyway. Yeah, I better start counting that from the previous week. Right, yeah, so we're going to wrap up. So, yeah, Mr. Hamilton finished on top step. Overdyking was second, and Jamie James, his teammate, in third place. I think we know who's going to be getting team of the day today. Mr. Hamilton has left the party. See you later. Yeah, so great event there from the World Championship drivers. If you are interested in doing some Formula One races, then find us on Facebook. We are Front Row Racing. Send us a message. Let us know if you want to be driving with or without assists, and then we can point you in the right direction of which of the leagues we can try and feed you into by going through our reserve system. Send us a message and we'll explain it all in a message to you on there. So yeah, that's that sorted. The next event at Front Row Racing will be tomorrow, same time, same place. That'll be 7:25-ish, depending on whether DP gets the broadcast up and running at the right time. So that'll be the World Series, where assists are allowed, where I will be taking part. Normally Millstar would be as well, but I believe you're away tomorrow, Millstar.
Yeah, I've got exams, etc. So I'm moving away from racing for a few weeks.
Okay, well, you will be missed on the grid. So unfortunate you won't be there, but I'm pretty sure you'll put a good reserve in place. So we'll find out who that is tomorrow. So yeah, if you want to come and find us tomorrow on YouTube with the World Series race at U.S.A. So from us here today, then in the World Championship at U.S.A., I just want to say one last thing, and that is thank you very much for watching. If you have liked it today, hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you all again soon.